client is alert, she's looking at me, she's listening, so I'll just let you and her have that conversation.
And Judge, yes, and I'll advise her, don't even look that way, communicate with anybody, just keep your focus on this side of it.
I get emotions are high.
Yes.
And we all have to compartmentalize, and that's the way it's going to work in a court of law.
Yes, ma'am.
The court will not tolerate anything less. Anything that I need to, anything else I need to address before we bring in another witness?
Nothing from the city.
I think we're ready based on. We're just going to bring down the jurors.
So I'll record for now, or we'll just be close to
You are close by, maybe about 10 seconds. So we'll start calling. Once the jury is seated, we turn on.
Yeah, sure. I know we have sounds tomorrow.
This is sounding.
It is.
I think it can still be done by 10:30
Okay.
because it's about 45 pages, which isn't bad for C sounding. And whatever we don't finish by 10:15 or so, I'll just leave it on the trial. The young man in the back is with who?
I don't know if I said it.
I need your name.
Victor.
With who? Which side?
Adam.
What's your last name?
Nancy Boy.
Who are you related to? Who are you related to?
No, just from the one.
Are you in school?
No,
So what brought you to this courtroom? What brought you to this courtroom?
just a trial offer.
If you can't dispel my concerns, I'm gonna ask you to leave. So you have to be more specific. What brought you to this courtroom?
I always come here. I'm always around a bunch of trials.
I haven't seen you. You need to step outside until I talk to the lawyers and figure out if I'm gonna let you back in.
Okay.
Thank you. Does anyone recognize who he is?
No.
I didn't feel comfortable with him just saying, Victor, I'm a spectator, even though the courts are open to the public. Considering the attention this case has had, I don't feel safe for anyone who attended being here the way that he answered. I can have my bailiff follow up with him or have the liaison follow up with him. I'll probably just have the liaison follow up, that way it's 1 degree of separation between me and my bailiff. So we'll do it like that.
Understood.
Yes, sir. I haven't been Benjamin here on Zoom, anyone know who that is? He hasn't identified himself, he's been here since this morning, so he's not an ASA or some lawyer, no. We're ready to go, Roberto, can I bring the jury? All right, let's go to the jury.
All right, the jury.
Scroll back, be seated, the jurors are accounted for, lawyers. Looks like we're all seated. Next witness for the state, please.
Yes, Judge, at this time, state calls Officer Dennis Aguila to the stand.
Raise your right hand, please. You solemnly swear firm testimony about to give the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
About the truth.
Permission to continue, Judge.
Yes.
Good afternoon. Can you please introduce yourself?
Yes. Dennis Aguila,
Officer Aguila, what department do you work for?
Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office,
And how long have you been in Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office?
since January of 2024.
And how long have you been an officer in total?
Total going on 7 years.
Now, back in June 25th, 2022, what department were you working for?
With the Homicide Police Department.
And what was your current assignment back on that night?
Road Patrol.
Did you respond, Officer Aguila, to 1237 Northwest 14th Street?
Yes.
Can you please tell the jury what your role was?
Basically, we discovered someone that was in the alleyway and that had been shot. And basically, I was there just trying to separate the other party while they were trying to help him.
When you say the other party, can you say who that other party was?
The female, I forget her name, but the defendant.
The defendant in the case?
Yes.
Okay. Now, did you speak to the defendant that night?
Yes.
Okay. Did you ask her what happened?
Yes.
What did she tell you happened?
She said that he had left the house 30 to 45 minutes ago.
I'll break it down. Who had left the house?
The victim.
Okay. You can continue.
Basically, she said that she heard screaming, and that's when she called the police.
So she told you the victim was at her house that night.
Yes,
Then she said she heard screaming.
correct.
Did she tell you how she got to the alleyway?
She heard the screaming. I don't recall how she got there. I believe she drove.
No further questions, Judge.
No questions, Judge.
May the witness please?
Yes. Thank you. The next one.
Judge, at this time, state calls Officer Edwards to the stand.
Raise your right hand, please. You solemnly swear firm that testimony about to give the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes, sir.
Good afternoon. Can you please introduce yourself?
Good afternoon, everyone. Deputy Edwards with Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office.
Deputy Edwards, how long have you been a police officer?
A little bit over 8 years now.
And I know you mentioned you work for the Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office now. Back on June 25th, 2022, what department did you work for?
Homicide Police Department.
And how long have you been an officer?
With Homicide?
Yes.
3 years.
Now, I want to direct your attention to June 25th, 2022. Did you respond that night to 1237 Northwest 14th Street?
Yes, ma'am.
Please tell the jury what your role was when you got to the scene.
I was the backup officer. I arrived, rendered aid to the victim, and then I helped secure the scene.
Who were you a backup officer to?
Officer Nicholson.
Eventually that night, Officer Edwards, did you end up speaking to the defendant?
Yes, ma'am.
Where did you end up speaking to her?
In the front of the residence.
About how long after that you arrived on scene to when you spoke to her, how much time had passed?
A few minutes, because she was there initially when we were rendering aid to the victim.
She mentioned you were speaking to her in her house.
In the front of the residence.
Okay. Now, what did she tell you when you spoke to her?
That the victim wasn't a bad guy. She doesn't know who would do this to him. That he provides for the family.
You mentioned she said that she told you the victim wasn't a bad person.
Correct.
Had you asked her about the victim and what he did for work?
She pretty much just said that he goes out of town about 3 or 4 weeks out of the time and provides for the family.
Provides for the family. And what did she tell you anything about their relationship?
She advised they were together for about 10 years and that they've had their ups and downs. However, she didn't know who would possibly do this to him.
Did you ask her what happened, how he got shot?
I asked her, but she advised me that after he arrived home, they were watching fireworks and then he went for a walk.
So she mentioned to you that they were together that night at the house? Correct. And that they were watching fireworks?
Correct.
Okay. Now, did you, based on what she was telling you, Officer Edwards, and based on everything, did you believe she was the one who shot him based on what she was saying to you?
Province of the jury.
It's the same. Hold on
Move
one
to
second.
strike.
There's no answer, there's nothing to strike. It's on sidewalk.
Officer Edwards, when you were speaking to the defendant in front of the house, was she arrested at this point?
No, ma'am.
Was she in handcuffs?
No, ma'am.
Was she free to go?
No, ma'am. I mean, she was free to go. She was not free to go.
Was she free to move around the area?
Oh,
the
yes.
residence?
Yes, I let her move around.
Did you let her go in the house?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you let her go outside of the house?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Moment to confer, Judge. No further questions, Judge.
So, sir, just to be clear, she was not free to go, correct?
Correct.
So she was basically in custody at this point?
I wouldn't say in custody. I treated her as if she was a potential witness or involved to the incident. She was the wife of a deceased person, of a person who was shot.
Well, if she wasn't free to go, then obviously you, in your capacity as a law enforcement officer, you placed a restriction on her ability to leave. So she was, at least to some degree, in custody, correct?
And she was a witness to a homicide. She was a
in custody
complaint.
or not, sir?
She wasn't detained in custody.
All right. So you were asked specific questions about what she said to you. This conversation you had with her, was it recorded?
Sure was.
Okay. So the whole thing was recorded.
Yes.
All right, thank you. That's all I have, Judge.
Can you direct?
No, Judge. No redirect.
All right, you can step down.
Thank you.
Excuse, Judge.
Yes. Any other next witness?
I'm going to state calls Officer Aguila Rodriguez.
Raise your right hand, please. You solemnly swear firm testimony about to give the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do.
Good afternoon, Sergeant. Can you please state your name for the record?
Yes, Yadiel Rodriguez.
And how long have you been a police officer / sergeant?
Police officer, 13 years, sergeant, about a year now.
Okay. And what department do you work for today?
The Homestead Police Department.
Okay. And then how long have you worked in total then for the Homestead Police Department?
7 years now.
So then I want to take you back to June 25th, of 2022. What was your role then in the Homestead Police Department?
I was a patrol officer.
Okay. Now, on that date, June 25th, were you dispatched to 1237 Northwest 14th Street in Homestead, Florida?
Yes, I was.
Okay. What exactly were you dispatched there in reference to?
The call came out, I believe it was a 214, a male that was shot, and he was located in the alleyway.
Do you mind explaining to the jury what a 214 is?
It's pretty much an emergency call, injuries, and then the dispatch advised that it was a male that had been shot.
Okay, so when you get those types of calls, is that your priority at the time then?
Yes, it's a priority call, so we go emergency mode, lights and fire.
So then you went to the scene then in emergency mode?
Yes.
All right, so about how long did it take for you to arrive then to that address?
Probably a couple minutes.
Minutes. And where exactly did you get in your car when you got there? Where were you?
When I arrived, I believe I parked on the east side of the alleyway. There was a couple officers already on scene, and then I started walking up towards where they said that they located the male, and I walked up the alleyway to where those units were at.
Okay, so what other officers or what people were there then in that alleyway?
I recall Officer Nicholson, who's now Sergeant Nicholson, Officer Chevalier, Officer Edwards, Officer Dennis Aguila. They were already on scene when I arrived.
So did you speak with any of them, or did you just get to work?
When I walked up, there was a couple of officers next to the male that was on the ground with fire rescue, and then they asked me to go ahead and go speak to the female on scene and try to get her information.
Okay. Now, you didn't assign that role to yourself, did you? No,
it was the primary officer, Officer Nicholson, who was with the male, so he wanted me to start assisting with getting the information from the female.
So then your role when you're on the scene is not to give out people assignments, it's just to do what you're being told right there then?
Yes, once you arrive, usually what happens is whoever's a primary officer who got assigned that call, they're the lead, unless the supervisor arrives there and starts delegating other tasks, but they're the lead, and then kind of get with them and see what they need.
So you've been now given the task to speak with who?
It was the female on scene. I don't recall her name. She was ended up being the guy's spouse or the guy's girlfriend.
And where was she located then?
She was off a couple feet off towards the front of the actual residence where she resided.
Now, when you first saw her, was she in handcuffs?
No, sir.
Was she walking around freely?
Yes, sir.
So then, as you're approaching her, how's her demeanor? What does she look like?
She looked anxious, a little irate.
Okay. And did you have a conversation with her?
Yes, I did.
What exactly were you talking about?
I asked her in reference to the male, if she knew who he was and what was his name. I asked him in reference to their relationship, and then if she knew what happened, and just asked her pretty much anything that she knew in reference to what happened that night.
So what did she tell you about what happened?
She said that he had left in a white van. She wasn't able to describe if it was a work van or a passenger van with some friends of his, and when he returned, he was very flustered, I think is what the exact word she used. And he started walking around the area, and then she started driving around trying to find him. And that's when she found him on the alleyway.
So did she ever tell you that she was with them, or that he came out of a white van?
She said that he came back after the white van and he would look flustered and he just started walking around the neighborhood.
So as an officer who's being given this information, what's going through your head then about what you're looking for?
We started obviously sharing the information in reference to the white van, trying to locate that. I asked her in reference to the friends if she knew who they were, their names. She said no. And we just try to get whatever information we can in reference to obviously the statements that she's given.
So no names of who was driving it. Any time? Were you given any time that this van was in the area?
No, she said it had been several minutes, but she wasn't able to tell us the exact time frame.
Okay. Did her story seem consistent with what you observed on the scene?
At that time, no. Like I said, from what she was stating, she said she was driving around. The male was located in the alleyway, and he was like kind of behind some houses and stuff. So, me driving around, I wouldn't know how you'd be able to see him from the roadway.
Okay. So, did she ever go into detail about how she found the victim, or did she not talk about that with you?
No, the only thing she said, she was driving around and she saw him on the alleyway.
Now, Sergeant Rodriguez, did you have body-worn camera on that night?
Yes, I did.
And how exactly does that body-worn camera work?
Once we get out of the vehicle, we usually activate, and then it starts recording. Usually, once you turn it on, it takes, I think, depending on which mode you have it in, on sleep mode or ready mode, it records 30 seconds back. There's just no audio, and then the audio starts once you actually activate.
Okay. So was your body-worn camera then activated that night?
Yes.
I'm now showing the defense just been marked for identification purposes as State's Exhibit 1E. Do you recognize this?
Yes.
Did you have an opportunity to review that?
Yes.
Is it a fair and accurate representation of your body-worn camera on June 25th, 2022?
Yes.
Your Honor, State moves to introduce what's been marked for identification purposes as State's Exhibit 1E into evidence at this time.
State Exhibit 1E, marked for identification, now becomes State Exhibit 4, Judge.
Your Honor, permission to publish State's Exhibit 4?
How long is it since you have a preview?
Yes, Your Honor, it's about 5 minutes.
Sure.
What's his name now? His name is Pedro Jimenez. And where does he live? He lives at 956 Northwest, Fort Terrace, Grove City, Florida 33034. Please, please, breathing, please. And what's his date of birth, do you know? It's 5689.
And what's your relationship with him?
I've been with him for 9 years.
So you're married, just going out?
I've been with him for 9 years and have 2 years with her.
Do you know where he was at tonight?
He was here.
The whole time?
No, he was here off and on. He initially was with some of his fucking friends. I don't know what the fuck their name is. And he came back home and he was flustered. He was really flustered. And he wouldn't talk to me. He kept fucking leaving over and over again, walking around, over and over again, walking around, coming back, walking around, coming back, walking around, coming back. And finally, you could hear him, you could hear a wail, you could hear him wailing. And I drove around to see. The second time I went through, I see him laying on the floor.
I don't know, I say you can hear money.
You could hear somebody screaming, help. When I see him, he was bleeding everywhere. He was bleeding everywhere. I only found one. I only found one hole in his leg. I don't know if there's another one, but I only found one.
And when you say he was walking around, what was he walking around? His neighborhood? Or just a certain place?
I don't know if it was just in the same place or if it was all around the neighborhood. I don't know. The last time I saw him before this, it was about 30, 45 minutes.
And where was he?
When I found him, exactly where he was. Walking. I saw him walking this way. Walking through here. Walking this way. I'm just walking through here.
So I'm just on the record.
I'm just acting this way.
Do you know the friend's name that he was with?
No, I don't.
What did they look like?
He just left in a white van.
Yep.
Is he breathing?
Just,
No, is he breathing?
you said the type of white man was it?
It's just like, I don't fucking know. It's just a white van. I don't know.
Was that the white man was it?
I don't know. It was a white van. He's trying to see if he's breathing.
There was one out. Yeah, I didn't take it. Is he your housemate or is he your boyfriend?
I don't know.
How many friends was he with? Can you please come over here, please? Yes. You're just trying to give me information. Now, what is Pedro Jimenez. Yes. 5'6". 5'6". Yeah. So those are the first. Are you pregnant? Okay. Good. Yeah. Yeah. We got a date. I need you to stay behind the table. Just give us a few minutes. There's people with him right now. I don't even go over there. Mom, please stay behind the table. What is the need for me to go over there? There's already people over there.
Please, can you just see if
Please
he's
go behind the
breathing?
table.
Can you please see if he's
What's the
breathing?
need for anything else? We're trying to get out of
Can
there.
you please just see if he's breathing, please?
I need you to listen to me. Please go behind the table.
Now, after watching your body on camera, when you were speaking with the defendant, did she know at this point in time who the victim was?
Yes.
And did she tell you about the relationship?
Yes.
Did you learn about the victim's job at that time through your conversation with her?
Yes, she said he was a truck driver.
And did you understand what the defendant meant when she said, he's not into that shit?
No.
Now, what did you do after you had this conversation?
At this point, I went over to Officer Nicholson, who was the primary officer on scene that day. I handed him the information that I gathered from the defendant, the victim's name and information. I gave it to him, and then I don't know if you can hear in the radio, there was quite a few calls pending, so I started to head out to where my vehicle was to go, handle the other calls. And I think on the way back, I spotted like a trail of blood, and I had to come back and advise him again. And then after that, I left.
So you noticed a trail of blood. How much blood was it? Was it a lot?
It was a lot.
Now, where exactly do you remember this by, that blood?
From the alleyway, and I kind of followed it in between two vehicles where there's about two like puddles of blood there.
Do you notify anyone?
Yes, I spoke to Officer Edwards, and I advised him of it. And then, like I said, I had to go back to answer, to help out with the other calls that were pending on the city.
Now, do other officers that are responding there with you have body-worn camera?
Yes, sir.
I'm now showing defense what's been marked for identification purposes as State's Exhibit 1H. Now, do you recognize that?
Yes.
Did you have an opportunity to review that body-worn camera?
Yes.
Is it your body-worn camera, though?
No.
But did you see yourself on there?
Yes.
And is it a fair and accurate representation of what you saw and what you were doing on June 25th, 2022?
Yes.
Your Honor, State moves to introduce what's been marked for identification purposes as State's Exhibit 1H into evidence at this time.
State Exhibit 1H, marked for identification, now becomes State Exhibit 5, Judge.
And how long is it? So we just have a sneak view of what to expect.
Yes, Your Honor, 2 minutes. Your Honor, permission to publish State's Exhibit 5?
What's supposed to be all in your book?
Yeah. You didn't get anything out of it, right? Like, you haven't heard what happened. The wife was 18, without conscience, and then. Oh, the way it's going that way? Like a lot.
There's a left photo there, the way it's flat.
The way it's like full?
No, not full, but it's flat. Like the amount of flat. Now it's coming in an angle type shit, it's not like these, it's just
Right, straight down.
around. What's supposed to be all in your book?
To the front.
So, what did we just see you there doing?
We were following the trail of blood, and then we located in between the vehicles a couple different puddles of blood.
Now, we heard a little bit of conversation regarding splatter. Are you a blood expert or anything like that?
No, sir.
Okay. So you were just speaking out loud about what you were observing, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, what exactly were your roles then throughout this entire investigation?
I was just assisting. My role mainly was to gather the information from the defendant and the information that I could gather for the victim, and then once I was able to grab that, like I said, I had to end up leaving to go assist with the other calls that were pending in the city.
So you completed your role and then you left?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, this wasn't your investigation, right?
No, sir.
You were just doing your job?
Correct.
Your Honor, no further questions.
Any cross-examination?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so there's no cross-examination, you can step down. Sorry, the state, the next witness.
Yes, Your Honor. State call Detective Suyapa Hubbard.
Detective Hubbard.
Yes. Hubbard.
Hubbard.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony about to give the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Detective.
Good afternoon.
Do you mind please stating your name for the record?
My name is Suyapa Hubbard.
And what is your current occupation?
I am a deputy sheriff.
And how long have you been a deputy sheriff?
I have been a deputy sheriff for 16 years.
So, what is your current assignment with the Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office?
I am assigned to the Homicide Bureau as a homicide detective.
And how long have you been a homicide detective?
5 years.
Now, within those 5 years, do you receive any type of specialized training or have to do any training?
Yes.
What exactly is it?
Well, it's investigating, learning how to investigate homicides. There's different aspects of deaths and how to identify and collect evidence and how to do that properly.
So, were you working as a homicide detective on June 24th and 25th of 2022?
Yes.
And how exactly did you first get involved here in this case with Ms. Link?
So we work as a team concept and my team was on call. I received a phone call that a homicide had taken place and I was requested to respond and assist with the investigation.
So you just said you work as a team.
Yes.
What do you mean? How do homicide detectives work as a team? What do you guys do?
How it's organized, there's a sergeant assigned, and then you have a team of either 3, 4, or 5 detectives that work together each investigation.
Now, are you guys given specific roles or are you all the lead in this?
No. Typically, the sergeant will assign a detective within that team as the lead. So the lead then will assign the other detectives different tasks.
Okay. Did you respond to 1237 Northwest 14th Street in Homestead, Florida?
I did, yes.
Now, that's in Homestead, and you said you're with the Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office. How do you get called out to Homestead?
Because there's certain jurisdictions within Miami-Dade County that do not have a homicide team. Therefore, there's an agreement between the Sheriff's Office and those municipalities. And so we go in and we investigate homicides that happen within those jurisdictions.
Now, this address that you responded to, is that in Miami-Dade County?
Yes.
Okay. So, around what time did you arrive to the scene?
I arrived at the scene at 6:18 in the morning on Saturday.
Okay. And when you arrived, was the victim already determined to be deceased?
Yes.
Okay. So when you first get to the scene, who do you speak with first?
Well, I made contact with my sergeant, Jason Wade,
What exactly did you learn from your conversation with your sergeant?
My sergeant then indicated that Detective Joseph Cruz was going to be assigned as the lead detective for this case.
Okay. Did you ever speak with Detective Cruz?
Yes.
And did he give you any specific tasks or assignments?
Yes. Detective Cruz requested that I document and work with crime scene, with the scene portion of the scene of the investigation, and also to document the body.
Okay. So you said your task is to document, but what specifically are you documenting?
I'm documenting the scene, so taking note of everything specifically of evidentiary value within that scene, and to determine how big that scene is, and just note everything that's in there.
So in order to document the scene, do you ever have to do a walkthrough of the entire area, or?
Yes, so preliminarily, once the crime scene detectives arrive, we're gonna work together to make sure that we don't miss anything. And we at first do a walkthrough through the scene.
And what did you learn from your walkthrough?
Well, that there was blood throughout quite an extensive scene, which started on the west side of the duplex. So the duplex that we were responding to is 1237. Just to the north of that, attached to that structure, is another duplex, which is 1255. There was a large tree just west of that entrance to 1255, and that tree had blood on the exposed roots. So once I see that, that's my starting point for where I see blood. Then following the trail, I follow that trail towards the southern part in between that structure of duplexes and another structure of duplexes that are just west of the 1237 and 1255. There was a large concrete pad. In that concrete pad, there's 3 sets of droplets, and they are traveling west and south. From that pad, there's also a concrete walkway that exits out to the southern part of those other set of duplexes on the west side. There was vehicles there. I followed the blood trail through those vehicles. There was 3 vehicles parked from east to west. There was a white pickup, there was a gray SUV, and then there's a green pickup. In between the gray SUV and the green pickup, there was blood. Specifically, I saw a lot of blood on that passenger door of the green pickup and on like the step up, on a step that's on the outside of that pickup truck. The blood trail then follows west into a grassy area. That grassy area is on the west side of the west structure of duplexes. I follow that blood trail towards an alleyway that's on the north side. There's a vehicle right before you enter the alleyway. That vehicle also had blood. I follow the trail then now into the alleyway, and just west of the trail, I observed the victim's body covered with a yellow tarp.
Now, I'm now showing defense what's been marked for identification purposes as State's Exhibit 1C. It is. I have State's Exhibit 3 here, as well as C. Do you recognize this image and the second image?
Yes.
Is this a fair and accurate representation of the property that you were just describing?
Yes.
Your Honor, statement was to introduce what's been marked for identification purposes. State's Exhibit 1C into evidence.
No objection.
Say Exhibit 1C, marked for identification, now becomes Say Exhibit 6.
And Your Honor, permission for the detective to stand?
Yes. And third, just like with the other witness, as high as possible, so both sides of the jury can see.
Yes, Your Honor.
Remember, what's been introduced in evidence will go back in with you into the witness.
Now, detective, where exactly did you start following this blood trail? If you could just mark it for the jury.
Okay. There's this large tree here, and then these are the duplexes that I was referring to. So I started the blood trail. I noticed that it started here at the roots of this tree.
Yeah.
What would you like me to do?
You can mark up the circle. And then where did you finish following the blood trail to?
Here, the vehicles that I was telling you. So there's this concrete pad here. We go through here. This is that green pickup where I saw a lot of the blood. Then the trail goes on this grassy area along the west side, following this other vehicle where I told you I saw blood. And then this is the entrance to the alleyway. So following this, all the way to under these trees here, that's where the body is.
Thank you. So, when you said you arrived to where the body was located, you saw that it was covered in a yellow blanket.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Well, it's to preserve the evidence and preserve the body and to give respect to that deceased person as well.
Can you tell us a little bit about the body?
Yes. The victim's body was supine on the ground, and there was a gunshot wound to the right thigh.
What do you mean by supine?
Face up. He was laying face up.
Now, the gunshot wound was left or right thigh?
Right.
Do you have to, as you had said, you're documenting the scene and the body, so what does that mean? What are you doing with the body then?
I have to examine the body, touch the body, take the clothing so it can be documented. If we see any defects on it, that gets also documented along with crime scene. So they'll be taking photographs of everything that I'm showing them. So also of the wounds, we document the wounds with a photograph, and I also take notes and document it for my report.
Okay. What was the victim wearing then when you were observing the body?
So the victim had on a gray tank top, black shorts, black underwear, black socks, and black shoes with a white sole.
Can you describe the condition of the clothes?
The clothing was blood soiled, and like the shorts had, hole where the gunshot wound went through, and it was wet and soiled.
So after you document this and make all your observations, what's the next step in your investigation?
After that, I coordinate with the medical examiners, and they're going to take the body to the medical examiner's department for a autopsy. And after that, I assist with whatever else is next to do in the scene or with the case. In this case, I interviewed an individual by the name of Joel Gramajo Perez.
Okay, and who was Joel Gramajo Perez?
A neighbor.
Now, after you speak with this neighbor, do you document this conversation?
I did, yes.
And where does that lead you to next?
So after I conclude that interview with him, I assisted with a search warrant and a search by K-9 Detective Victor Gill.
Okay. So let's break that up. We have two separate things there. You're executing a search warrant. What are you doing? What are you looking for? What's the goal of that?
The search warrant was of the 1237 Northwest 14th Street. And the goal of that is to collect more evidence, see what else we can find in there that can help us piece together the events that took place and that led to the victim's death.
Did you locate anything inside the home then, you and your fellow officers?
Yes.
What did you discover?
There was a Ring camera that was collected.
Okay. Now, after all those observations and executing the warrant, you had mentioned that there's a K-9 unit as well too.
Yes.
Did you call that K-9 unit, or were they just helping you on the scene?
I don't recall if it was myself personally that called them, but they do get called out to all of our homicide investigations, especially those that involve guns shootings. They have a dog that is trained to detect ballistic evidence. So whether it's a gun, a bullet, a spent casing, that's what they do. They're pretty good.
Okay. But you're not the one that's handling the K-9, you're just observing?
Correct. I happen to be on scene, but that is something that is completely done by the K-9 detective and his K-9.
Okay. If they locate anything, do they inform you?
Yes.
Did they locate anything?
They did. So Detective Gill told me that the dog hit on...
It's the same.
Without
He's gonna ask another question.
Without telling us the contents, did you see him locate anything?
Yes. A gun was located inside an areca palm in front of or west of 1237.
Okay. Was it on someone else's property?
No.
Okay, that palm tree was then on whose property then?
It's just west of the front door of 1237 Northwest 14th Street.
Now, after you accompanied the detective that located that, what did you do next?
Okay, so once we have a gun, it gets documented with crime scene, like everything else that we document together. So it's photographed and then it gets impounded so that it can get further testing on it. After that, I made notification to the victim's family.
And is that something that you have to do as part of every homicide investigation?
Yes.
And who did you notify?
I spoke to the victim's father.
Now, did you do anything else on Saturday, June 25th, 2022?
No.
When's the next time that you get back involved with this investigation again then?
The very next morning, I returned back to the scene.
Now, what do you do when you're back on the scene?
Well, I requested for another K-9 detective to respond to conduct a secondary search for ballistic evidence.
Why is it important then to do a secondary search then?
So as the investigation evolves, we learn more information. In this case, we learned the defendant said that the shooting took place on the east side of 1237 Northwest 14th Street, which would be the rear side of that duplex. Therefore, we need to go and look for evidentiary, anything of evidentiary value at that point, more specifically casing or anything of ballistic value.
Okay. Is this the same canine unit from the day before, or is this a new canine unit?
No, this is a different canine unit.
So, did that canine unit locate anything? Because I know you had mentioned the first one had found a firearm, but did this unit find anything?
No, that their search yielded negative results. There was nothing else found.
Did any of the canine units find any type of shell casing of a bullet?
No.
So after this secondary search with another canine unit, where do you go next?
Well, I had right before we call them, they have to come out. So there was a gap of time. I went and accompanied one of my team members, Detective Morales, to go view a surveillance camera that we had found.
What did you see in that footage?
In that footage, at 3:13 in the morning, the victim is observed on the alleyway. Shortly after that, the defendant's vehicle is observed driving from west to east on the alleyway. Then at 3:21, that vehicle approaches from the west towards the east, and the victim's body is laying on the ground. The defendant exits the vehicle, runs towards where the victim is, goes back to the vehicle, and then returns back to where the victim is and starts tending to the victim.
And you saw that video footage firsthand?
Yes, I did.
So, after you review that footage, is it your job then to collect that video footage?
No.
Okay. Someone else's job then?
Correct.
So, where does your investigation then go next?
Then after I saw the video, then I went and made contact with the other canine detective. After I do that, I went back to try to make contact with the victim's mother.
And did anything else happen on Sunday, June 26th of 2022?
No.
Was that the end of your investigation?
No. I continued to look for leads. I did an area canvass, basically go door to door to talk to all the neighbors. I also went back to talk to the victim's family. There was an individual, and all we had was that his name was Kevin. But we wanted to interview him because I learned that the victim had spent some time with Kevin right before he got killed. So I wanted to know the specifics of that. And I also knew that there was a woman that went to look for the victim, and then the victim left, and that was the last time that Kevin saw the victim alive.
So you didn't know Kevin's last name at first, correct?
I did not.
Did you eventually find it out?
Yes.
And what was his full name then?
Kevin Bonilla.
Okay. So overall, did you do anything else in this investigation?
No.
So then, one last time, what exactly was your role then in this homicide investigation?
To document and process the scene and the body. I also interviewed a neighbor. I then talked to the victim's family, and I also conducted an area canvass of all of the houses within the area so that I can speak to anyone, and basically just looking for any witnesses that can help us piece this together.
Your Honor, a moment to confer. Your Honor, the state has no further questions at this time.
Any comments?
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, sir.
So, I think your testimony was that Joseph Cruz was the lead detective in this case, correct?
Correct.
Were you working under him, or were you his co-lead? I mean, what was your role more specifically in this case?
As I stated before, he was a lead, yes, and he tasked me with the scene and the body portion of the case.
Okay. Other than the specific task that you yourself performed, or as one of the detectives, you're privy to the rest of the information in this investigation, correct?
Yes.
Now, Detective Cruz at some point interviewed Miss Link, correct?
Yes.
Were you present for that interview?
I was not.
You were not. Can you tell us whether or not any of Mr. Jimenez's belongings, clothes, personal effects, things of that nature, whether there were any of such items in that home on that night?
I don't recall. You would have to ask the detective that took the lead on that search. I was just merely assisting.
And I intend to, but as somebody who's privy to all the details of the investigation, as you sit here right now, are you saying that you're not able to tell us whether or not Pedro Jimenez had any belongings in this home, which the state has claimed was his home at that time?
No, I cannot answer that. I was not tasked with that documentation.
Thank you. No further questions.
You said that. I'm sorry. In your
Yes, Your Honor. So, Detective, you're not the one that's personally executing the search warrant, correct?
Correct.
There are other officers that have that role?
That's correct.
Okay. And your main job was to document just the items associated with the actual homicide, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, just because you don't remember what was found inside the home doesn't mean stuff was found inside the home, correct?
Correct. That's why we work as a team, because it's a lot of information and we want to capture everything and be extremely detailed. So that's why we have to divide the tasks to make sure that everything is done correctly.
And that was not your task, correct?